On air. Thank you. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is KK. If you don't already know me, I look after Regent's University in London. I'm based out of London, but I'm currently in Hong Kong. So I am currently in my hotel room. I haven't got quite the setup that I'm normally used to, but hopefully I should be able to share my screen quite easily. Okay, so hopefully you all can see that. Is that correct, Jess?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm just going to put this on full screen. There is quite a few things that I'd like to cover, so please bear with me, but I will share this presentation slide with the Yes Education team, so you can ask them to share the presentation later. Just very briefly, my email is at the bottom there, but any kind of communication, any kind of contact, I'd be grateful if you could send it through to Yes Education and we could communicate via them. So just to start off with, Regent's University London, I've only just joined about a few months ago. I was at another university. So when I joined Regent's, I found it was quite unique because it's one of the few universities in the UK that is a private university. A lot of universities in the UK, as you probably are aware, is public. So we're only one of a handful of universities that is private. And what that means is if you are a British student coming to study with us, you can still come and study with us. You will be paying international student fees. So that's basically one of the highlights that might concern you. We can accept British students, but they will be full-time international fee-paying students. So we can recruit British students via you, and they will be paying international student fees. So as a university, we're actually quite small. We're not your typical university with tens and 20,000 students. We only have about a cohort of 2,000 to 3,000 students. At the moment, we have around about 2,500. And what's quite unique about Regents is we have a very diverse student body. So you might already know, you might already be familiar with the UK and how certain universities have very much a strong number of international students from particular regions or particular countries, like say, for example, the NIP or China or whatever. But for us, we truly have a diverse student body. Just to give you an idea, for the 2024-2025 academic year, our student top 5 include German students, Italian, American, Indian, Turkish. For this September, which is already starting, we don't know yet. And 2 years before, it was different again. So what I would say is if you are coming to study at Regents, you get that very much an international student experience. Yes, we also have British students, but these are the kind of nationality mixes that you get at our university. And because we are a smaller university, that means that our teachers, our tutors, our lecturers are able to give more of a personal approach to the students that they teach. So they give a more personal approach to learning. So every student is normally assigned a personal tutor. And what that means is basically all of our teachers, lecturers would know all of our students. Sometimes you go to a university, a big one, you get lost in a crowd of tens, 20s, hundreds of students in a lecture room, for example. It's not like that with us. So if ever you get students, let's say, for example, that is not looking for that big uni experience, they can come to us. Another selling point of Regents is our connection to industry. So I will highlight this a little bit later on. We have really strong connections to industry, whether it's in London or UK in general, or Europe or internationally. We're also a member of what's called Walpole, which is an organization that represents British luxury. We've got lots of students that have strong entrepreneurial backgrounds. A lot of these students come from families that have backgrounds in businesses in their home country. And so once they graduate with us, they have that entrepreneurial mindset. A lot more information about why choose to study at Regents, our key selling points. You can click on this link and it will take you to our website. But I won't do that now. You can do that later on. So I'll just move on a little bit to our campus location. So you can see an image to, I think you're right, is our setting, which is in Regent's Park. So if you're familiar with London, we are in one of the royal parks, which is called Regent's. It's a very, very big park, very beautiful. And our campus location is actually inside it. What's really nice as well for students is that we offer on-campus accommodation. So you're not only living in central London, you're studying in central London, you have on-campus accommodation, you're living in Zone 1, Regent's Park. So that is quite a unique zip code that you have when you stay with us and study with us. We also have modern facilities. What else have I not mentioned? A global perspective. So we have about 140 different nationalities studying on campus. Okay. I'll talk to you a bit more about our accommodation. So one of the questions that we often get is in terms of employability. So students often ask me, when they ask about Regents, what's your university ranking? So that's something that I wanted to address quite early in the session. We are not part of any rankings. I believe my understanding is the university rankings that you see are available or are around, they normally have several different metrics. For example, they look at the size of the classroom, the size of the university, teacher to student ratio. They also look at research output, citations, and all that stuff. What I can say is, for one, as a university, we don't do a lot of research programs. We don't do doctorates. We don't do PhDs and all that and all those kind of programs. If we do, it's probably only a handful. So what that means is we don't have any research output. So we can't be part of those metrics that I talked to you about. Our class sizes, our cohort is actually quite small as well compared to the bigger universities. So we're not actually included in many of the rankings that you see available to universities. But if ever you get a student asking about our rankings, what you can highlight is in terms of our employability. Where do our students go on to work or go on to further study once they complete their studies with us? So I think we're pretty good or pretty well known for our employability rate. And I just wanted to quickly share a very catchy video. Hopefully you can. So it's a very, very short video. I was told by our marketing team that nowadays Gen Zs, they have an attention span that's very, very short. So if ever you wanted to attract them, you need to find videos that are quick, catchy, and snappy. So hopefully you caught some of the video, some of the content from that video there. As you probably had seen, a lot of the brand names that showed up were brand names that you probably have heard of, industries or companies that you would have already have been aware of. So those are the places that our graduates go on to work once they finish studying with us. So again, if you ever get students worrying about rankings, always focus on the fact that when you study with us, a lot of our students go on to really good employment with brand names, and they're not just, working for a company that you've never heard of, but probably at levels like managers or senior officials, etc. Of course, you normally start at the bottom, but progression is quite quick for our students. Okay. And again, highlighting some of our alumni. These are some of our notable alumni that have studied with us. So to your left is Her Majesty Queen of Bhutan, and to your right is Marta. So Marta is the daughter of the founder of Zara. So Zara, the brand that you probably are familiar with. So she is now with the parent company called Inditex. So Inditex looks after brands like Zara, Massimo Dutti, Bershka. What else is there? I think Pull and Bear, Stradivarius. So she studied with us business, international business. Okay. And then a couple more, because we offer acting, for example. To your left, we have who's called Ruby Wax. So I live in England. I'm not too familiar with all the comedians that are in England, but my husband's British. So I asked him if he knew Ruby Wax, and he said, yep. So she's quite well known. And you've got Pedro here, who is a Forbes 30 under 30. So a lot more of our alumni stories can be found on our website by clicking on the link at the bottom there. Okay. Now, in terms of our settings, I think this is something that we tend to highlight as well to students. London is a big place. There's a number of universities located in London. There's a number of universities that have branch campuses in London, but not all of them are actually in central London. Sometimes you have a university that says that they are in London, but they may be about an hour away actually from central London. Now, we are actually very much in the city centre, so we're in zone 1. The nearest underground station is what's called Baker Street, We have security on campus 24/7, so it's not like anyone can just walk into our campus. No, you need a security card to get into our campus, or you go via reception and you need to register yourself. Okay, so I think in terms of safety, it's a very safe campus, and it's a very well-known area that we are in. Okay, again, just to quickly highlight you how big Regent's Park is. So this is a small part of the park that you can see, and our campus is right in there. Some of the landmarks that are nearby: Paddington is about 20 minutes walking, Marylebone, Mayfair, Selfridges, Abbey Road. These are all landmarks, locations that you probably have heard of, and they're all walking distance from our campus. This is our campus. Again, our campus, it changes with the seasons. We're always happy to have students come and visit us. So if you ever have a student that is holidaying in London and they happen to be in the city centre, if they want to have a quick tour of our campus, we provide on-campus tours every day, Monday to Friday, from 2 p.m. So you can either book an appointment from our website, or you can contact me via Jessie and her team. And then you can let us know that you have a student that wants to visit, and someone from my team will be able to show them around. Normally, students are interested in finding out about, what the accommodation looks like, where your classes will be, and all that stuff. So again, some images from our campus. This is our final year production for students studying fashion design. This was this year. It was held indoors inside the library. Last year, it was held outdoors. We got a lot of press from this event. And this is, again, just another quick video showcasing the Regent's Park application. Okay. And then next up, these are the programs that we offer, or the subject areas more like. So we have courses in acting, art history, counseling, business and management, and so on and so forth. Psychology, we do offer. Psychology, our program, MSc, is a psychology conversion course. So not a lot of universities offer a conversion course in psychology for masters. We do offer it. What else can I highlight? Global Art Markets is one of our most expensive programs. I think it costs, if I'm not mistaken, around about £40,000 for the 1 year of studies. Now, in terms of the programs that we offer, all the information will be on our website. But I just wanted to highlight one of our newest programs. This one is called the MA Film Production and Marketing. So it's starting this January 2026. The course will be available in September as well as January. All the information should be on our website by now. One of the reasons to study film production with us is our teaching staff. So on board with us, we have teachers, lecturers, staff members, including Oscar-nominated screenwriter, an associate producer of BAFTA-winning films, so people who are actually from industry. Once you complete this course, you will end up with a major credit on a post-production or a short film. So this course is designed for students who want to be basically filmmakers, and not just filmmakers, but commercial filmmakers. So you'll learn not only the technical aspects of how to create a film, but also how to market it or how to sell it. So your film will also be included in one of the independent film festivals in London, okay? One of the reasons to study with us is our location, of course. If you want a career in film and TV industry out of, let's say, America, we're in London. There's lots happening in terms of film in London, and we're right in the heart of it, okay? That's it in terms of the programs that is new. But again, all the information for our programs is available on our website, including a breakdown of the courses and the modules. Now, in terms of our tuition fees, I would say we are quite pricey, and we haven't had that many scholarship offerings in the past years. So to give you a quick idea, our tuition fees start from £23,000 upwards. This is for the 2025-2026 academic year. I believe we have published the fees for September next year, and it should be available on our website. Another key highlight of study at Regents is, as I mentioned earlier, different to other universities as we have smaller class sizes, but it's not a bad thing because you get personalized support for students. Our classes normally run Monday to Friday. Typically, classes start from 9 a.m. The last one can be from 7 p.m., but it doesn't mean from 9 to 7 you will always have classes. And also our programs, we run 2 intakes a year, September intake and January. So most of the programs that are offered in September will be available also in January. So if you have students that missed out on the September intake, they can likely come to study with us for the January program, as the program will likely be available for that intake as well. So if you have students coming to us in January, we have already started applications. You can submit an application through YES and they will sort that out. So in terms of our structure of our courses, we have quite unique special electives. So what's a bit unique about Regents, I notice, is that you can study your electives from any other program that we offer at our university. What I understand is if you are studying in the UK, if you're studying psychology, you're only studying psychology-related subjects or modules. But with us, you can study mostly any other program or subject that is available on any other course. So long as we offer it, you can study as an elective. For example, if you are studying psychology, but you're interested in languages, you can do that. If you're studying psychology, but you're interested in business, you can take a few electives in business, for example. Or if you're studying business and you're interested in acting, if it's available that cohort or that semester or that term, you can study acting, for example, for a module, okay? In terms of our entry requirements, because there are several different regions represented here in the training session, I won't go over in detail. I'll just cover the general entry requirements. So as you can probably see here, we have undergraduate entry requirements for students studying IB. It's 24 points only. So it's actually quite low. So we do get students, let's say, for example, who aren't the highest academically achieving students. That's fine. They can come with us with a minimum of 24 points. And during clearing, we can be quite flexible. So what I've seen is we've got students that come with us with quite average points in terms of their grades. If they don't meet the entry requirements, they can still do the foundation program if they're wanting to do UG. So we do offer foundation with most of our programs, whether it's September or January intake. So for a more detailed breakdown of the international entry requirements based on your student's nationality, we have started putting this up on our website. So if you want country-specific information, let's say for Indonesia or for Thailand, you should be able to find it on our website. Just to quickly highlight, as Jazzy already mentioned, I think most of you are from Southeast Asia, a mix of nationalities and countries. What I'd like to highlight here is for Indonesia and for Thailand, we accept direct students from National High School. So if you have students from Matayom 6 in Thailand, you can come to us for year 1. If you have students from class 12 SMA, they can come to us for year 1 direct entry. They will still need IELTS or equivalent to an IELTS, okay? For master's programs, at the moment, we accept minimum second class or a 2-2. That is normally, depending on country, it's roughly around about 2.5 GPA, okay? We allow a maximum of a 5-year study gap if your student is wanting to apply to study with us. Now, in terms of our entry requirements for English, let me just skip the English part. I'll talk about it in a minute. I'll just follow the flow of the presentation. So again, I just wanted to focus on what I mentioned earlier is our industry connections. So we're very, very proud of our industry connections. And this is something that we're always trying to promote to our students because we don't have those rankings. So at Regents, we're very, very strong in terms of our connections to industry brands. So we have people from Alexander McQueen, from Aston Martin, from Burberry, Chanel, Chanel, Dunhill, Ferrari, Fortnum Mason, Google, and all that on the list you can see there. These are the kind of speakers that come to speak to our students. And it's not just any member of staff, it's often senior leaders from these companies. So to give you an idea, we've got Charlotte, who is the executive director for JP Morgan. So she came and spoke to our students previously. And then we've got other guest speakers, let's say, for example, from Meta. Tom here, or Thomas, is the global head of creative development. So every year he comes and speaks to our students. He always has a very interesting lecture to give to our students. Sometimes it's about personal branding and other subjects. So what it does is it gives students direct access to these kinds of people. You can network with them, you can have a one-on-one session or have a chat with them once they finish their presentation. So I think that connectivity is also very good for our students. Now, what we also want to highlight here is our connection to what's called Walpole. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of Walpole before. To be honest, I'd never heard of it before until I joined Regents. So I'd never heard of Walpole, but I'm pretty sure you all have heard of these brands, right? So Aston Martin, again, Rolex, Bentley. And what they all have in common is, first of all, they're actually British. They have British origins. So you think of Rolex, you probably think of Switzerland. That's true. But just a bit of fact, fun fact, they actually started off in England. So they originated in England, but during the World War, they moved their operations to Switzerland. And Chanel, as well, as you know, is a French brand, but they actually have their headquarters in England. So what connects all of these brands is they have British origins, but also they are a member. And also, of course, if you think of all these brands, you think of luxury, right? And also they are all members of what's called Walpole. So Walpole is an organization that promotes, protects, and develops British luxury. And we are only one of maybe 2 or 3 educational institutions that is also a member of Walpole. So we're actually quite proud to be a member of Walpole. And what that means for our students is they have direct access to all of these companies. So not only are these companies coming to our university to become guest speakers or guest lecturers, our students get involved in live projects. If these companies are looking for interns or if they're offering industry placements, guess who gets, first priority to get an internship? It will, of course, be our students. So again, our industry connections is really what we want to try and highlight to our students. If you want to have any association with any of these brands, come to study with us. It's likely that you could get to know people from the industry, get placements, or potentially get a job once you finish studying with us. Okay, so again, just to highlight, this is Chanel coming to speak to our students. We've got people from Aston Martin, Fortnum Mason, which is a very popular brand of biscuits and other goods, sorry. Alexander McQueen. We've also got, I think this one's McLaren. We've had live projects with McLaren before. Okay. So this should have been discussed earlier, so I think I should have moved the slides around. But in terms of our English language requirements, depending on what the student is studying, if they're doing an undergraduate, we typically ask for IELTS 6.0, no band below 5.5. For master's level programs, we typically ask for IELTS 6.5 with no band below 5.5. Of course, we accept other forms of English. The list is available on our website. And we also offer free English proficiency tests. Once your student applies to study with us, they receive an offer letter, a conditional offer letter. They can then book to do a Regent's English proficiency test or REPT. So there's 2 parts to the English test. The first part you do with us. Once you complete that one, you will then get a voucher to do a language cert test online. And then once you get those tests, you upload it into our system, and then we can exempt you from English if you meet the requirements. And this is new to 2025. We have started accepting Duolingo. So Duolingo tests, I do find, can be a little bit easier than IELTS. And also for Duolingo, yes, we do offer the free English tests or the REPT, but if you are finding yourself, it's very last minute applications, sometimes to do our English placement test, you need to book a time. Whereas to do a Duolingo test, you can just do it online. And then you can send or share our results with us. Share your results with us, sorry. So if you are looking to do something that is a bit more fast than a Regent's English placement test, you can consider doing a Duolingo, which is, I believe, cheaper than doing an IELTS test, for example. All the information is on there, and it's also on our website. And you can see to the right is the kind of scores that we require. Okay. Now, scholarships, something that we get asked about a lot. Just to give you an idea or some background, Regents didn't really offer much scholarship in the past, but this September we have started rolling out some scholarships, but they're not always automatic. So we cannot currently confirm what the scholarship will be for September 2026, we have actually not confirmed yet the scholarship for this January 2026, the next intake. However, what I can say is I've got confirmation that we will offer scholarship. It will likely be similar to what we offered this September. So just to give you an idea, the scholarships that we have is normally valued at 10% or 20%. So for the 10%, it's normally more automatic. The 20% is normally by application, but you normally need to only apply during the start of your application. What I mean by that is it's not a separate application for the scholarship. So you apply to study with us, you write a personal statement. If your personal statement is good, then we would be considering you for the Vice Chancellor scholarship. But oftentimes we get the agent to nominate the student as well. So if you are a student with Yes Education submitting your application, you can tell Yes Education that you want to nominate your student for the scholarship, and we may be able to assess your student for the 20% scholarship. However, again, places are limited. We don't currently know how many Vice Chancellor scholarship valued at 20% that we offer for this January or for September next year. But if you do have an application, please submit as early as possible. You don't need to have everything ready. Normally, the basic that we need is your personal statement. Even if you don't have a personal statement, whatever certificates or transcripts that the student has should be enough to be assessed, okay? In terms of the personal statement, it's normally 300 to 500 words if you are undergraduate. It's 500 to 700 word personal statement if you're applying for a PGT or master's program. Now, in terms of the accommodation that we offer to our students, we have on campus two types, Reed Hall and Oliver Flats. So Reed Hall and Oliver Flats are all inside Regent's Park, all inside of our campus. So the students can get up, wake up in the morning, shower and all that stuff, and then go down and get to the classes. So it's all in the same compound or complex. So Reed Hall is a mix of single and twin rooms. There are 4 floors or floor levels. First level is normally for boys only, second level is for girls, and then so on and so forth. So students can choose single, but there is limited room. Twin rooms is normally sharing, boys and boys, girls and girls, of course. We do have limited spaces available. So it's not for everyone. It's normally first come, first serve. If you wanted to live in Regent's Park, again, that's why I recommend for your student to apply as early as possible, because once you make an application and receive an offer, we will invite you to book accommodation. Reed Hall, the bathrooms are outside of the rooms. Oliver Flats, they are typically ensuite rooms, meaning that the bathroom is inside your room. Okay. Again, with Oliver Flats, there are limited rooms available. There's normally only about 4 available rooms for Oliver Flats. Reed Hall, I believe there's about 200 spaces available, whether that's single or twin. Okay. And in terms of the price range, you can see on your screen, it's also available on our website. Normally the contract is about 13 weeks or 15 weeks. Yes, you can extend by applying and contacting our staff. In terms of what you get, your prices that you see on the screen includes a £105 meal credit per week. Meal credit basically covers breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but it doesn't cover 100% all those meals. But what it means is it can significantly reduce the amount of expenses that your student has. Normally, our meals, I would say, cost anywhere from £6, £7, or £8. So it's quite cheap compared to eating outside. And it's available on campus, so the student doesn't need to go out or go anywhere. But again, because of our location, outside of our campus is Marylebone. Mayfair is very, very close. So there's shops, restaurants, supermarkets, etc. So it's all nearby. Okay. Now, off-campus accommodation, we normally recommend what's called North Gower. It's about 20 minutes walking from our campus or 12 minutes by tube. It's around the Euston area, not Eton. They are twin bedrooms. So again, twins might not be something that your student is interested in. Other than this off-campus accommodation, feel free to recommend students to stay anywhere else. What's good about us is that we can give recommendations as well or advice. So it's fine if your student decides they don't want to live in our on-campus accommodation or at North Gower. If ever your student doesn't understand what council tax is, what does it mean to have a landlord, if they want advice whether the accommodation they choose is good or not, they can always speak to our accommodation team. We're very welcoming. So you can get advice from them even if you're not staying with our accommodation, okay? Now, in terms of the application process, I won't go into too detail, but something I wanted to highlight is that we accept direct applications. So students do not have to apply via UCAS. If you have applied via UCAS, you can submit an agent nomination form. I recommend submitting it as early as possible, or as soon as you submit the UCAS application. But again, you can also apply direct. What's good about applying direct is normally we don't need to have the references. If you apply UCAS, you're normally asked to provide references. If it's a direct application, I believe starting this September, we have removed the requirement for references, unless it's for programs related to psychology, if I'm not mistaken. So it's actually more straightforward to apply direct, and we recommend it, whether it's UG or PGT. So application turnaround times is normally 5 working days, so it's quite quick. When it's quieter periods, it's normally 3 working days. But if you ever need my support or my help, if you have a student that you need to get the application assessment done very quickly, quicker than 5 days, you can contact me or contact Yes, and they will let me know that you want me to prioritize the application. So I will tell admissions to prioritize the application. So it would be the first application that they will be processing on that day, okay? Hopefully, if you ask to be prioritized, it takes about 1 or 2 days. But again, case by case basis. We accept credit transfer as well. So what I have seen sometimes is you have a student that studied at Queen Mary, or they studied at City, for example, and they may be struggling a little bit academically. So they finish 1 year or 2 years, and then they decide, I'm not going to be able to push through. I want to transfer to Regent. Is that possible? Yes, you can apply for credit transfer or RPL. Just submit an application, and then during the application process, indicate what year the student wants to be assessed for. If it's year 3, please write year 3 or year 2, for example. What's good about Regents, I notice, is if we need an academic to review an application, it only takes them 2 days. I think when I was working for another university, an academic review can take days, weeks, or months. So with us, it's very, very quick. It may take longer than 2 days, but it's generally quite quick. Okay, what else is there? All applications go through admit@regents.ac.uk, and you can also copy me. And please make sure that Yes is tagged into the application. And if you need to break it down, whether it's Yes Indonesia, Yes Thailand, please let us know. Otherwise, it will just be a generic Yes Education agent tag. Supporting documents, as I mentioned, personal statement is one of the basic things that you can use to apply with us, in addition to transcripts. Okay, so 300 to 700 word. If it's UG, it's normally maximum 500 words. If it's a PGT application, maximum is 700 words. I believe that is it from us. In terms of personal statement, again, you can go click on this link and it'll give you some tips about how to write a personal statement. One of the things that I wanted to highlight here is our tuition fee deposit. It is normally £4,000. So for Regents, we encourage students to apply as early as possible to ensure that the student gets here on time. Our deposit requirement is £4,000. We normally have a cooling off period of about 14 days. So let's say your student pays a deposit and then they decided they changed their mind. If it's within 14 days, they can get a full refund. But please expect some delays for the processing, whether it's the bank or whether it's us. And of course, when you refund money from pounds to your local currency, there may be some currency changes or fluctuations. Okay, we normally recommend using Flywire, which we can monitor and track. Once your student receives an offer letter, they can pay. They don't need to wait for an unconditional offer. But they cannot apply for their CAS until after they have paid and they have received an unconditional offer, and then they will get a link to Cash Shield. So we use Enrolly for Regents. Okay. Oh yes, I forgot about the slide here. So we've got information for CAS. I think most countries in Southeast Asia, you really don't need to show financial evidence. And again, all of this I can share to you by email, so not a problem. We do have our own CAS team, so there is a separate email, and I think it's at the end of this presentation. So anything related to admissions, you can email directly with the admissions team. Anything related to CAS is a separate email from the admissions team, okay? Again, as I mentioned, we do offer campus tours, so that's something that I would always encourage your students. If they are visiting London, please feel free to arrange a campus tour or just walk in around about 2 p.m. and someone will be able to show you around the campus. If you have students studying in London or currently in London and they want to attend an open day, we have our open days, which is called the Regent's Difference. It's normally every 2 months. Please feel free to invite your students to those and they can speak to academics, see the campus, do a taster session and all that stuff. So something I wanted to highlight as well is we often get students that are already in London. Maybe they're doing a foundation or a pathway program and they want to come and study with us. They can. They can apply via their foundation to come and study with us for year 2 or for year 1 if they've done foundation. But they can also apply via their agency back home. So yes, education, if the student is already studying at Into, for example, because we offer guaranteed progression for students coming from Into, if they've done Into London, studying business, they can get guaranteed entry for any of our business programs for year 2. They can apply via Into, or they can apply via your agency or via Yes Education. By agency, I mean via Yes Education. But you need to tell the student that, otherwise it will automatically be tagged to Into. So that's just something to highlight, okay? Because I do realize sometimes the student is more familiar with your team or with the Yes Education team, and they'd rather apply to us after doing their pathway. So they can still apply via Yes Education to do year 2 or to do year 1 if they've done foundation, but make sure that they ask to do an agent nomination form and apply via Yes Education. Okay, I think I've spoken a lot. So I'm almost done. I just wanted to highlight the key emails that we have. So that's me at the bottom. If you're speaking to us, please always make sure to copy me in the emails. Anything related to CAS, this is the email. Admissions, this is it. I wouldn't worry about the agent's email. Okay. And I believe that is everything. So I hope I'm still within my time. Are there any questions so far?
Yeah, we have several questions, Mbak Keke.
Oh, okay, great. I haven't
In
actually looked at
Q&A
the Q&A.
box.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay, the
read it.
first one.
Yep.
Yeah, you asked high school diploma with minimum GPA 2.5.
With mix of national curriculum. That's a good question. If it's a mix with national curriculum, it depends on where they come from. Because let's say for Indonesia, we do accept direct entry anyway. So if they have mixed curriculum, that's fine. If they're coming from Thailand, it's also the case. If they're coming from Vietnam or if they're coming from Cambodia, it's normally a case by case. But I think Regents is quite flexible, to be honest. So what you can do is you can just submit your application and then let us know. We will be able to get back to you in about 3 working days. But you will just need to tell us when you apply that the student is studying a mixed curriculum, because sometimes I see this in Cambodia and maybe our admissions team doesn't quite realize what the student is studying. So they're saying that, oh, you need the full high school diploma. Oh, you don't meet the requirements. But speak to me through Yes Education and then we'll see what we can do. Okay, but again, I recommend just to make an application. Okay. But likely the answer is yes, case by case. Based on what I've been seeing, we can accept the student. Okay. And then the next question, do you want to read it out or do you want me to read it out, Jazz?
You can read.
Okay. Do undergraduate students, do they must apply the program through UCAS? No. So they don't need to apply via UCAS. I absolutely encourage students to apply direct. So once you go to our website, I think there's a click button, apply now. You fill in your details. Please make sure that when you fill in the email, you use 2 emails. Your student's email address direct, and the second one is a Yes Education email address, because our partnership is through Yes Education. That way I know who the student is coming from, because if you apply via UCAS, what happens sometimes is students apply twice. Sometimes they already applied via UCAS, but then they apply direct as well. So it's a little bit hard for us to track which one is the correct application, for example. So again, make sure if they apply direct, please use both the student's email address and use Yes Education or at Yes Education's email address when filling in the students' details. Okay. Next question: do you accept HND and NC? Yes, we do. I will need to check the website for the entry requirements because I don't know it by heart, but we do accept HND. We accept BTEC as well. Okay. I hope that answers all the questions.
Another one. The
Mhm.
minimum age for students who want to apply for undergraduate programs.
Sorry, I forgot about that bit. So yes, minimum age, I believe, is 17. So if you are underage at Regents, even though, so yes, we do accept minimum age is 17. As you know, if you were under 18 in the UK, you were considered a minor. So you do need to fill in a, what's it called? Guardian form. Even though, so let's say the student is still 17. I'm just thinking of a case that might be a bit tricky. Let's say we start in September. Your student has a birthday in on August 30th, for example, but we start in September and they applied in July of the same year. So when they apply, they're still 17, but once they study with us, they are already 18. But because we need this for CAS, we need this for the application process, they will still need to fill in the guardianship forms, I think. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. And then the next question is, do you have internships for PG? Our programs are typically 1 year long. We don't offer a specialized or a specific 1 year plus 1 year of study plus 1 year of internship. My understanding is none of our programs at the moment offer that. So what happens is during the year of study, they have summer breaks, etc. There will be opportunities for placements. There will be opportunity for part-time work. And what's really good about our services is we have a career center that will be able to help place these students. And again, we've got those industry connections. So if a student is ever interested in any member of Whirlpool, we will be able to help them get placements in those kind of industries or anywhere else. And one more thing that I forgot to mention, what's good about our career center, I used to work for another university. When I worked for the other university, normally access to careers stops when the student graduates after 2 years. And I think that's quite typical of a lot of universities in the UK. So once you graduate, you still have access to the university's career centers for about 2 years after your graduation. But for Regents, it's for life. So let's say you have a student that graduated bachelor's with us from 2005, and then they come back to our career center and ask, hey, I need help with getting a job placement. Are you able to help me? Our team will still be able to do that. So I think that's one of the things that I wanted to highlight, that I forgot to highlight, is how good the career center is at supporting students. Again, because our student numbers are quite small compared to the bigger universities. So do we have an internship for PG? The answer is we don't have a dedicated 1 year placement, but we do have internships, we do have placements built into your program within that 1 year PGT program. Hopefully that answers the question. Okay, so moving on to the next one. What about students from Indonesia who finished their Diploma 3 and Diploma 4 degrees? Is it possible and guaranteed for them to transfer their credit to bachelor and master's degree? So normally if you are studying D3, you can get credit transfer. D4 depends on what you're after. Are you looking for top up final year or you're looking for master's qualifications? It will be a case by case basis. I can't think of any cases so far. But again, because we accept year 12, normally if you've done 12 years of study plus 3 years of a bachelor's degree, you can normally do top up for final year, if that makes sense. But again, case by case basis, just submit an application. But I do believe, based on what I've seen, is that Regents is quite flexible. Normally for credit transfer, you need to have 120 credits per year. Okay, all right. Okay, that's it from me. Any other questions?
Yeah, and so recently BTEC is very popular here in Indonesia, Mbak Keke. Yeah. Do you accept BTEC and waive IELTS because all of the students asking for
Yeah. So I haven't looked at it again, but because I haven't seen any specific cases from Indonesia, one of the things that I noticed at Regents is if you have done a foundation, if you have done any qualification that is fully done in English, sometimes it's a bit hard for us to exempt English, even though this, you provide a letter saying that, oh, we offer full English, all that stuff. Unless it's an international school and you're studying A levels, IB, I think HND or BTEC should be okay. But I haven't seen any cases in the last, because I've only just joined the last 3 months. I haven't seen any specific cases from Indonesia for BTEC, for example. So what I can do is I can try and push it to exempt it, so long as the school also provides a letter. If it's an institution that we recognize in the UK, I think it should be fine. But please let me know and I can try to push for an exemption. Worst case scenario is they must do the REPT or the free English test. At the very least, it's free. And we also recognize, or we're probably confident that the English is already very good, right? So even if they had to do a test, they should be fine and they should meet the requirements. Okay. Anything else?
Okay, any other questions, guys? Or you
That's
can
some very, very
just
good questions.
raise
Thank
your
you very
hands.
much. Jess, I just want to quickly share our website, if that's okay.
Sure, sure.
Okay, so this is something that is available to all of our agent and agent partners. I'll share the link or I'll send it to Jazzy and she can distribute the link. But basically, this is all available on our website. You just need to find the link. But basically, this is all our materials that we share. So training slides, you can click on this and then you can download it. And then our current brochures. So everyone's trying to go green nowadays, right? We have printed materials. It's a bit hard for me to send everything to Indonesia because it can be, or Thailand or other countries, it can be a bit expensive. But everything is available on PDF form. And we've got lots of QR codes that links to our website. So if ever you wanted to share this with students, please feel free to do so. So these are our current flyers and brochures. I like this one on the right, which is the London Guide. So once you open this, it's got information about, where do our students go for coffee? What's a good area to hang out in London? Where's the cool markets and places to hang out in London, etc. So this is provided, the information is provided by our students. So that's a cool one to share with your students. If they're visiting London on holiday, you just wanted to share with them some information about Regents, you can. We also offer study abroad. So what that means is actually, if you have a student looking to do a semester abroad, our partners also get commission. So it doesn't always have to be a full degree at Regents. If your student only wants to come for a semester, there is commission granted to students from Yes Education. So speak to Yes Education and they'll be able to tell you more about that and how to apply. We also offer commission for our School of English. So this School of English, we run on campus as well. The minimum is 2 weeks up to 44 weeks. In some countries, students like doing English. So much English, up to 44 weeks even. So that's a lot of time. That's also a lot of investment for the students. And agents can claim separate commission for that as well. So for the School of English, it's all run by us. Same with our foundation program. It's all run by us, not a separate party. What's good about our English programs is if you're interested in doing the summer ones, it also combines tourism. So you're studying during the week, but on Fridays, it's sightseeing, either in London or outside of London, for example. So something that also in addition to your full degree, something that your students might be interested in. We're happy to arrange school tours as well. If you have students wanting to visit London in our campus and wants to do a bit of English, let us know and I can connect you with our School of English team. Yep, all the information is there. You can just click on it. I'm trying to go back, sorry. Yes, and I think that's it. Social media templates, if you wanted to share on your social media, some of the catchy videos that we use on our Instagrams, TikToks and all that, they're all available here. You can just download it and you can share it across. Okay, that's it really. Anything else?
Yeah, I think quite clear, Miss KK. Thank you so much for the presentation. Yeah, I'll contact you if I have any other inquiries.
Yes, thank you so much, Jazzy. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, everyone.
everyone.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye. Yeah.